Hello again, little one. Settle in now, and let the quiet come back around you. Breathe in deep and breathe out slow. This time we are traveling far away from the valley, out to the very edge of the world, where the land meets the sea. Imagine the smell of salt and the sound of waves. Our story is about a place called Point Serenity, a lonely, rocky cliff where a single lighthouse stood tall. It was a sturdy, strong tower of gray stone, and its powerful bright light blinked out over the vast, dark ocean every 7 seconds. It was home to a man named Barnaby. Barnaby was the lighthouse keeper. He loved his orderly life. He loved things that were predictable and clean, the clockwork rhythm of the light, the steady click of the gears, and the clear view of the deep blue horizon. He liked to know exactly what was coming. But there was one thing Barnaby did not love, and that was the fog. The fog at Point Serenity was not a thin, wimpy mist. It was a thick, heavy, silent blanket. It would roll in without a sound, swallowing the sea, the sky, and even the tall lighthouse itself, making the dependable world disappear. When the fog came, Barnaby would frown. "Silly, noisy, messy thing," he'd grumble, even though the fog itself was silent. He would immediately turn on the loud, harsh fog horn, a booming, blaring sound designed to warn ships away from the unseen shore. He hated the way the fog made his life feel uncertain. He felt that the fog was a blank wall, blocking the beautiful, reliable ocean and hiding the truth. He wanted clarity, but the fog only offered mystery. One evening, the fog rolled in thicker than ever before. It was a deep, bone-damp gray that pressed against the glass of the light chamber like a heavy, cold quilt. The foghorn began its loud, blasting rhythm. Asterisk honk. A long, tense wait. Asterisk. Barnaby sat in his small room, listening to the noise, feeling frustrated. He polished the brass railings again, though they were already spotless. He wished the world would just be clear. He remembered his own grandmother, who had also kept this light, who used to say, "When the world is too loud, listen to the quiet. The quiet always holds the truth." Barnaby sighed. He closed his eyes, and instead of focusing on the harsh honk, he focused on the deep, dense silence that the fog seemed to carry within its heart. Asterisk, let your own worries feel like that loud horn now. Just a loud sound far away on the sea. And let the quiet, gentle, gray silence of the fog settle all around you. Feel the deep, gentle darkness of the night, and sink a little deeper into your bed. Asterisk. The next morning the fog was still there. It hung low and silent, heavy with salt and moisture. Barnaby was doing his morning checks. He was checking the complicated mechanism for the foghorn, trying to make sure it was working perfectly, and he accidentally bent a delicate wire. He bent it too far, and with a small, sharp snap, the main power wire for the horn broke. The foghorn went silent, utterly, completely silent. Barnaby froze. Panic tightened his chest. A lighthouse must have a working horn. It was the absolute first rule. It was his duty to make noise when the world was silent. He rushed to the repair kit, but he was missing the exact wire he needed. The supply boat was one full day away. For 24 hours, the lighthouse would stand tall and silent in the thickest fog of the season. "The ships won't know where the danger is," he mumbled, pacing quickly in the small, circular room. "This silence is irresponsible. This is completely unsafe." He stood at the top of the tower, staring out into the dense, featureless gray. He could see nothing. The vast, dependable ocean was gone, hidden behind the softness. He felt the familiar weight of helplessness and fear beginning to press down on him. Then he stopped pacing. With the horn gone, there was only the sound of the fog itself. And the fog, he realized, made no sound at all. It was an intense, absolute quiet. Barnaby leaned against the cool glass, his forehead touching the smooth surface. He forced himself to be still and listen to the silence. And in that overwhelming quiet, he started to notice small things he'd never heard over the horn's loud noise. He heard the soft, delicate lap of the waves against the cliff base, a gentle, slow, rhythmic sound that was actually soothing. He heard the faint, high, quiet cries of the gulls that used the tower's railing for rest. He realized, deep in his heart, that the fog wasn't a blank wall trying to trick him. It was a filter. It took away all the distracting, loud, sharp noises and left only the soft, true sounds of the earth and the light behind. He decided to try something completely unsensible and very, very gentle. If he couldn't push the fog away, maybe he could welcome it. He went to his small kitchen and brewed a strong cup of peppermint tea, his favorite scent. He didn't drink it. He carried the cup to the window ledge and poured a tiny splash out onto the cool stone. It was a small, quiet, silly offering to the unseen world. "Hello, fog," he whispered, his voice soft in the big room. "I'm sorry I called you messy. Thank you for the quiet." The absence of noise is not emptiness. It is a full space for peace. Let the silent, gentle fog surround you now. Feel the soft, slow lap of the waves and the peaceful, quiet click of the turning light. Everything is slowing down, easing your mind. Barnaby spent the rest of the day in a new kind of calm. He was listening to the quiet sounds, and he noticed the lighthouse light was behaving differently. When the foghorn was blasting, the light seemed angry and strained, desperately trying to fight its way through the gray air. Now that the horn was silent, the light seemed calm and confident. It wasn't brighter, but it seemed deeper. Instead of a sharp, clear beam, it was a wide, soft halo of golden light that pushed out gently into the fog. The light seemed to come with a feeling of safety, not a shout of warning. He realized the loud horn was screaming, "Danger! Stay away!" But the quiet light, now that it had the silence to speak, seemed to be whispering, "I am here. Am steady. Follow my slow rhythm with peace." That evening, a fishing boat named the Quiet Tide was lost in the thick, silent soup of the fog. Captain Elvin was worried because the loud horn was gone. They listened and listened. No sound, just the absolute, overwhelming quiet of the fog. Then Captain Elvin's sharp-eyed daughter, Lily, pointed to the east. "Look, father. It's not a sharp light, but a soft, steady glow." The lighthouse light wasn't demanding attention. It was simply offering comfort. The deep, warm yellow seemed to slow their fear. They slowly followed the gentle glow, trusting the slow, reliable rhythm of the 7-second blink. It was a journey of patience, not panic. The soft light guided them around the dangerous, unseen rocks and into the calm waters of the harbor. When they finally moored, Captain Elvin shook his head in wonder. That was the quietest, safest trip we've ever had through that fog. The light felt like a hand on the shoulder, not a warning sign. Barnaby watched the ship dock safely, a feeling of deep, quiet relief washing over him. He hadn't pushed the danger away. He had simply offered a quiet, reliable presence. He smiled and poured another tiny splash of tea out onto the window ledge. This time his thank you felt true, sent out into the soft gray air. Feel the gentle golden glow of the light now. It is steady and calm, shining through the softness. It doesn't fight the darkness or the confusion. It just is. Let that feeling of quiet confidence settle over you, guiding you gently toward rest. The next day, the supply boat arrived, bringing the new wire for the foghorn. Barnaby knew he had to fix it. Rules were rules. But as he held the new, thick, sensible wire, he paused. He looked out at the fog, which was still lingering, now feeling less like a loud enemy and more like a gentle, sleeping friend. Barnaby installed the new wire, connecting the pieces slowly and carefully. He made sure the horn could work. But when he was done, he left the main power switch off. He decided to continue his quiet experiment. He would trust the soft, dependable light and the honest silence of the fog. For the next week, the horn remained silent. Barnaby continued his ritual every night. A small, silent offering of tea to the fog, a long moment of listening to the gentle lapping of the waves, and a careful, loving cleaning of the light's lens. The fishermen quickly learned to rely on the soft glow. They discovered that when the fog was heavy, the best way to navigate was not by speed and noise, but by slowness and trust in the quiet. Barnaby discovered the fog was an extraordinary thing. When it was close, it magnified the sound of the light's slow, rhythmic click as it spun, a constant, tiny sound he now loved. He realized his fear of the fog had made him miss its greatest gift, deepening the quiet so he could hear the truth of the light. He started to whisper to the fog now, treating it like a friend. "Hello, old friend," he'd whisper. "Thank you for slowing the world down for me." And sometimes when he looked out, he could swear that the thick gray air just outside the light chamber would swirl gently, like a very large, shy cat softly brushing against his hand in acknowledgement. The fog, he learned, wasn't a problem to be solved with a loud horn. It was a quiet invitation to slow down and trust the gentle, constant light that was already inside the tower, and inside himself. Barnaby kept the horn clean and ready, but he never turned it on again. He had found a better way, the quiet way. The lighthouse at Point Serenity became famous, not for its noise, but for its peace. The soft light guided everyone safely home. And now, little one, you are like Barnaby. You have found the quiet inside the loudest day. You have learned to trust the soft glow. Let the warm, golden light of your own quiet heart shine steady. Let the silence of the gentle fog cover everything else. You are safe. You are steady. You are home. Sleep now, little one. Sleep now.